Naomi knew that Boaz was the kind of guy who does not drag his feet. That's why she said, he'll take care of this today. Well, Boaz went up to the town gate, Ruth 4:1 tells us, and he sat there. He went from the darkness of the threshing floor to the bright light of morning at the busy town gate. Now, this is the place where people gathered to do business. The marketplace was there. The gossip center was there. People would do legal matters there. It was the center of town. It was like downtown. And the way it worked, here's the gate, which was, the wall was very thick. The gate was cut through it, and you came inside, and there were benches, kind of like our benches seated around the edges where people could do business. Sometimes they had little alcoves where you could get out of the heat. So you have the picture. That's where he is sitting down. When the kinsman redeemer he had mentioned came along, I love this. He could have waited days for this guy to show up. He no sooner gets there, look who's coming. That kinsman redeemer that we need to meet. God's hand is already at work. Now here's something important about this guy. What's his name? Who knows? Nobody. It's never mentioned. No name. He's the kinsman redeemer. He's family. Naomi would have known his name. Boaz would have known his name. Who is he? He's such a no-name, nobody cares. This guy is not the hero of the story, and we already know that because he has no name. Boaz said, "Come over here, my friend." And let me just tell you, that translation is way too kind. If you go back and you look at the Hebrew, King James from 400 years ago said, "Ho, such a one." A better translation would be "so and so." So this is not a compliment. The LRV, the Lizzie Revised Version, is yo, yo. But obviously the guy respects Boaz. He went over and sat down. Then Boaz invites 10 of the elders of the town to come and sit with him. For the rabbis, they believed 10 to be the magic number of how many people you wanted to have for legal matters to be settled. So here they are, these men of standing, except they're sitting. Okay. He said to the kinsman redeemer, still no name, "Naomi, who has come back from Moab, is selling the piece of land that belonged to our brother Elimelech." When did this become a real estate deal? Is this not hit you out of like nowhere? Because the first time I read this, I thought, hold it, I missed something. When was land involved? And where's Ruth? Ruth's the story here. Yeah, but Boaz is about the smartest man alive. He's going to appeal to this man's pocket. And he's going to talk about something he knows this man wants. Land. And so, because here was the deal. Here's how it worked in Israel. God gave the people of Israel their land. Each tribe got so much. They could never sell the land outside the tribe. You never sold your land. It was a gift from God. I mean, that's why it was so shocking that Elimelech and Naomi left in the first place, abandoned this land. Anyway, you could never sell it, but one of your redeemers, somebody in your clan with money, could buy the land from you so that you could live there and be taken care of, but technically the land would be theirs. Follow all that? So he's saying, we need a redeemer here to buy this land. Then he gets really formal on us. "I thought I should bring the matter to your attention and suggest that you buy it in the presence of these seated here, in the presence of the elders of my people." I mean, it doesn't even sound like Boaz. He's obviously working with legalese here. This is what you were supposed to do. And he had to have witnesses. It's just like selling property today. Listen to Mr. Nonchalant. "If you will redeem it, do so. But if you will not, tell me, so I will know." He is not given any kind of clue about Ruth or what's involved here. And he's sounding like, if you want it, great. If you don't, fine. For no one has the right to do it except you. And I am next in line. Well, Mr. No jumps at the chance to own more property. "I will redeem it." He's excited. Land, you can't buy land. And our hearts sink. Oh no, because we know how this works. If he buys the land belonged to this family, belonged to Elimelech. His son would have gotten it, but Elimelech's dead, the son's dead. So the son of the widow gets it. So he has to take the widow as a wife. And then if she has a son, he loses the land. So he added this up pretty quickly. And Boaz makes it clear. On the day you buy the land from Naomi and from Ruth the Moabitess, you acquire the dead man's widow. He is not saying one nice thing about Ruth. Do you see any mention of her being a woman of excellence? Do you see any of his praise for her? Oh no. What's he call her? A Moabitess. Oh, and then she's a dead man's widow. What other kind of widow is there? Do you see what he's at here? She's a dead man's widow. So suddenly he's thinking, how did he die? And if he did a little bit of homework, he would have found out that he and his brother died splat very young. And if there is no living heir to redeem this land, and clearly there isn't, she might even be barren. Oh my goodness. This is what he's saying subtly. You do not want this woman. And sure enough, Mr. No suddenly isn't interested. Oh, that I cannot redeem it. Whew, let me out of that idea. See, Boaz knew he would say that because he knows this relative. He knows that he is of no consequence. He's not a man of standing. He's not a man whose name is echoed through this book. Boaz, Boaz, Boaz. This guy's no name. And he goes on to justify his selfish actions, as we always do, because I might endanger my own estate. You see, buying the land was a legal obligation for a redeemer. But marrying this widow, especially because he wasn't the brother of her dead husband, would have just been a moral obligation, and he's not that kind of guy. In other words, he's the anti-Boaz. He's the opposite of Boaz. See, like Orpah, he's a man of average character. What he's doing isn't bad exactly, but it's definitely not hesed. It's definitely not love, grace, and action. So the kinsman redeemer said to Boaz, buy it yourself. Boy, I mean, he said, no, you do it, you do it. You know, he wants out of this desperately. Then he removes his sandal. This is how you sealed the deal. Took your sandal off and handed it. And, you know, that's such a weird picture because I'm picturing this guy leaving, you know, with one sandal on. And I'm thinking, what is Boaz going to do with the other sandal? You couldn't even sell it on eBay. What are you going to do with one sandal? Though I suspect they kept the sandal. If I'd been those two, I would have put it up on the mantle just to giggle. Just to remember that day. Boy, I sure do remember that day. So Boaz announces to everybody that he bought the land. I have also acquired, he says, Ruth the Moabitess, Mahlon's widow, as my wife. Today, you are witnesses. Well, Naomi said it would be resolved today, and sure enough it was. Then the men of the town blessed Ruth. May the Lord make the woman who is coming into your home like Rachel and Leah, who together build up the house of Israel. Boy, they certainly did. Between Leah, Rachel, and a couple of handmaids, 12 sons were born. Do you realize the men of this community, Israelites all, are blessing this Moabite young woman by saying, boy, may you be like our best women, like Leah and Rachel. Wow, 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 wow. Ruth is a Moabite no more. She is now, ta-da, an Israelite wife and soon to be an Israelite mother. And this has happened in roughly 6 to 8 weeks, from the time she arrived in Israel till the time she is betrothed to the best guy in town. This is such proof that God loves the Ruths of the world, the outcasts, the women on the edge, the foreigners, the incomers, the odd lots, the forgotten women, the bad girls. God loves all of us. And Ruth's story speaks to that